everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and I'm here today to do a VR to Logan from Larkin Legends tag hashtag deck reconnect. Talking about decks I want to reconnect with in 2023. Now at the time of filming this, I haven't fully finished Logan's video. So far it is fabulous. I just have a lot of work to do today. So it's linked down below in the description box. And Logan described this as decks that they want to reconnect with or even just connect with. And so that's what I'm going with. And my biggest criteria is I really want to, I picked the video. My biggest criteria was I picked the decks that jumped to mind. The decks of like, I really want to make sure I connect with these in some way, or at least try. Because there's an overarching theme in my collection, which I talk about in my 2023 tarot goals video, which you can check out linked up above in the cards. I need to know what place these things have in my life. Like I know these things have a place in like my tarot and divination practice, but in what way? So there's a lot of my decks that I feel I need to connect with. These are just the ones that really jump to mind, that I really want to prioritize connecting with. And to be honest, this is going to be playing on my mind and informing my decisions and my viewpoints when I sit down to film my deck collection video and take a look at that. That's going to be coming early January. I am waiting because there are 2 presents under my tree as I am filming this that I want. And that I want to be included. So I like to do mine in January so that way I can include any presents. So that's how I like to do it. So that is the frame in which I am taking this. So let's take a look. The first one is my Ellis deck. I got this deck this year. Make sure we're all good. I'm just checking for glare. I love this deck. The artwork is stunning. I got this deck this year and I feel like it could be a very special deck for me. The wands in this is my favorite. The Queen of Wands in this is like my favorite Queen of Wands ever. It's like the most perfect Queen of Wands that I wish I was and that I want to be. I got this deck and I've done some readings with it and it works well. I've used it for member readings with my patrons, and I don't think it's actually been chosen in any of my channel membership videos. I used to have Patreon. There she is. And I moved over to YouTube channel membership. It reads well. I just haven't reached for it for myself. Probably because like I don't reach for things if I don't know like what it is I'm looking for. Like I watch planner videos when I'm looking for inspiration. I watch tarot videos when I'm looking for a sense of community and I just want to see pretty tarot decks. This one, I haven't done any readings for myself with it, and nothing's really stuck out as like, as of yet, to like, oh, I should use the Ellis deck for this. And this is why I want to do the tarot for yourself. I think I forgot to say this kind of a thing in my tarot goals video, which, like I said, it's linked up above, but I can use, I'm planning to use a variety of the decks I have that I want to connect with my tarot for yourself, because to me, I personify my decks and I can't get a feeling of the voice of a deck until I use it. But then I don't use it, so I don't get the voice, and it's a whole cycle, and I need to break that cycle. And I want to break it with the Ellis deck, the tarot. This is the 5th edition. And that is by It's from Illustrations by Taylor Ellis. So there's that one. Next up, I'm just going to stay zoomed in and adjust if I have to. My Goliath Tarot. Boop. So, this deck actually bumped out a different deck. I had the Corrupted Tarot by Wormwood. It was a lovely gift from a member, and I did a video on it. I can link that up above. I gave that deck to my wife. It's actually, as I'm filming this, wrapped under the Christmas tree, because my wife is way more obsessed with D&D than I am. And one of my goals next year is to get her the Fable Makers animated tarot with that really amazing D&D tarot guidebook. And if she was building characters based on tarot, like when I was talking to her about that, she would go to a deck like the Corrupted Tarot to make dark and creepy characters, sinister characters. I used the Corrupted Tarot and had a very powerful experience with it. But when it came down to it, if I was choosing like a deck to specifically look at shadowy stuff, I would rather connect with this deck. I was sitting there, I wasn't using this, and I was thinking, fuck, maybe I shouldn't keep the Goliath. And the thought of not keeping the Goliath made me really sad, because I feel this so profoundly when I look at the art. And I bought this from Lisa when she was getting rid of her copy. Now it's my copy. Look at the little bunny. I truly want to get to know this deck. It has hit me very hard. I was a very emotional unboxing. I did a video of that too. It's linked up above. So I really want to get to know this deck right here. So hopefully in the new year, I will be reconnecting or connecting with my Goliath Tarot. And I love the backs. How perfect is this for a death card year, which I'm going into? I think I'm going to use a lot of this stuff. I think it's going to be a really deep and dark and twisty, dirty, in the best possible ways kind of year. And I'm very excited. So is the Goliath Tarot. Next up, my Wildwood. This shouldn't really be a surprise if you've been here paying attention recently. I talked about this in my tarot goals, making sure there's no glare and that I am focused. I am so happy to have this. And this is the heart of one of my tarot goals, is to work with this deck and get to know it, and to work with the year in the Wildwood. This one, I haven't lost connection with. This is I really want to reconnect with this. I want to build my connection with this. And I'm extremely excited to do so. This has got to be one of my favorite Sun cards. And this, oh my God. So I'm extremely excited to play with this. The artwork is just stunning. I cannot wait to get to know it in the new year. And I love my bag choice. That's the Wildwood Tarot. Next up is my beautiful Tarot of Vampires. There's definitely, I feel like there's definitely an edgy theme. This was a gift from the beautiful Barb. Who, if you follow Lisa's channel, you will know of Barb, because Barb's always in the live in the comments. This is, this deck, oh my God. This sexy piece of work here, I love this. This gives me childhood vibes in the sense of like, the artwork feels very 90s to me. This has a really deep, beautiful guidebook. It's not that I haven't connected, like, it's not that I've lost connection with this deck. It's that I am extremely into this deck. I really want to work with it, and I haven't. Even though I intended to work with it in November, I didn't end up doing so. God, I love this card. Like, oh. The energy of this card is just on sexy, passionate fire and haunting and beautiful. And the guidebook in this is just, there's so much in the guidebook. So I really want to do the guidebook and all of that. I am extremely excited to work with my tarot of vampires and get to know it. Let's be friends. And like this deck, it's special to me, even though like I don't know and can't explain to you yet in what way it is special, but it is. Like I as soon as I got this, I felt like it would eventually find a very special place. And I haven't yet. And that very well could be because I just haven't, like, I'm not quite ready in some way. That actually tends to happen to me a lot. I view myself as a highly spiritual person, and there's a lot of things in my collection, like my Tarot of the Sheet. I've had it. I've loved it. I've never imagined getting rid of it. Even when I did not use it, I loved it, and I always tried. And it wasn't until I got my Wisdom of the Shadow Oracle, and suddenly it's like, yes, this is what my Tarot of the She has been waiting for. It's been waiting for me to magically get to this point in my life where I would end up with the Wisdom of the Shadow, and then I use it. So it could be something like that. I don't know. But that was my Tarot of Vampires. Oh, that would go really well with my Samhain cards. Okay. I've got a few left, and these ones are emotionally harder. First up, my Witch's Wisdom Tarot. I recently talked about this in a video. I said, let's talk Witch's Wisdom, and I titled the video, like on the thing, Have I Outgrown This Deck? And I'm not sure of the answer, but I don't want to give up without a fight. This deck, I have done a lot of really, really, really great work with. And I can't tell if this deck was a stepping stone to get me to the place I needed to be to do some of my other work, or if this deck does have a place in my collection. I can't tell. I'm undecided. And so far, talking about it, I haven't had any epiphanies one way or the other. I'll be honest, I'm scared that it's gonna go. And I'm sad thinking that it might go. So I really want to try and connect. I really want to try and reconnect with this deck and see if I can determine where this deck fits. I love these cards. The artwork is absolutely stunning. This, oh my gosh. I really want to. I do. So, and it's going to be interesting because it's kind of like a clean slate with this deck. So the last 3 decks have something in common. I had a practice with these decks, and then something came in that is and some self-evolution has happened that has replaced or changed that practice. And now I don't know if these decks are going to have a place beyond that, if their place was just a temporary thing. So these ones are really hard because I loved this deck. I used this for my Wheel of the Year readings. I haven't used it since Beltane. I don't know. That's one of the downsides to designating a deck for a specific practice, because then if something happens, if that practice evolves and shifts, that deck can then become in jeopardy. So my Witch's Wisdom, I'm going to work very hard to try and see if I can reconnect with it, if I can see what kind of voice it has. And moving forward, what I've started to do is I've started to look at my decks and keep this in mind. So like my Wisdom of the Divine Shadow, I use that for new moon pulls. And then I use the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine for full moon pulls. But that's not all I've used it for. I have actually done an incredible shadow work reading with both of those. So I'm trying now to work on, even if I have decks that I use for specific purposes, I try and find other purposes that I use them for. So that way, if I love a deck and something happens to shake up the practice, it doesn't suddenly make the deck useless to me. So the next deck that I've had this kind of thing with is my Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I do not want to get rid of this. Again, this feels very 90s artwork to me. Am I still good? Nice and clear? Boop. Okay. So here's what happened with this. I was using this for work with my deity. And I was using this on the new moon. My dog is batting around her dish. I was purposely seeking out, trying to get messages from my deity specifically every new moon. And the next deck went through a very similar kind of thing. I think I'm coming to the realization that for me, in my practice currently, my spiritual guides, my deity, my ancestors, they don't... It's like, it doesn't feel so much like they want me to actively be like, what's your message? What's your message? What's your message? It's more so that they want me to always be paying attention, because I never know when they're going to come in with a message. The idea that it felt too hemmed in to, I'm going to use this deck, and this is my new moon deck, and I'm only going to, on the new moon, work with this deity that is associated with this deck, and yada, yada, yada. It was too hemmed in. And I don't think my goddess appreciated it any more than I did. And it was really joyful at a time. And I've outgrown it. I think instead, the way it might work is like, when I see, because I've still had my goddess give me messages, but it's never been like me being like, hey, got any messages for me? It's me getting either A, getting a direct message, or B, getting a sign of a direct message, and then being like, what's up? I'm listening. So I feel like this deck could be really good for like when I feel like I'm getting a message. Spiders. Spiders are in association with this goddess. So yesterday I saw a spider. And every time I see a spider, I wonder if she's asking for my attention. So next time I see a spider, maybe I'll grab this deck and be like, hey, do you want my attention? What do you want my attention for? And I'm going to, and I do have the big guidebook, which I do want to read and study this deck. So I'm very hopeful to reconnect with it, and I love the size of it, and I love the back. I love this. So I'm hoping to reconnect with this in the new year. The last one is probably the one I'm the saddest about. Not sad about reconnecting, but sad that I feel like I have to, and that's my Cosmo Visions. My Cosmo Visions Oracle Tarot. I'm surprised that this ended up here. This is by James R. Eads. I'm surprised that this ended up here. I truly did not think it would. I've had this deck. I got it last year. I didn't do the Kickstarter, but as soon as it was able to, I ordered it. This deck, there's so many reasons why I love it. I love the art. I love the color palette. I love that it's lotuses instead of cups and embers. I love everything about it. I love that they took the quartz and made them their own suit. I love the panoramic feature. I love the concept behind this deck being like doing past life work. I have the Geomantic coins. I no longer have the Prisma Visions, but there's a skull there. I was using this deck with my ancestors. But as I mentioned, I've come to realize that my ancestors don't want... My ancestors don't really care about this deck. They will, when they want to get a message to me, they will get it to me, and they give not one shit. It does not have to be through this deck. So again, I was using this deck and I was seeking out messages, and I feel like kind of ignoring the feelings of when it's like, I think I'm getting a message from my ancestors here. Same thing as the Dreams of Gaia. And because I felt the connection of like, this is my ancestor deck, this is what I use it for, and I've tried to develop readings with it, and I've come up to some trouble, I'm like, fuck. I'm scared. I'm so scared that this deck will not stay, which I mean, that means I'm not getting rid of it. You can't make me. But I think what I need with this deck is time. And I think I need to... I feel like with this deck, I feel like going through and intuitively coming up with meanings. Because like the guidebook isn't very big. I feel like trying working with this deck intuitively. And what I really do love is this deck feels like a really good death card deck. Because I'm going into a death card year. Because this deck was built on the premise of like, you've died, and now we're spiraling back into life. So I'm hopeful that this year will reveal what this deck is for me. And I know what Oracle deck I want to get to work with it. I'm hopeful I will get to make my way to that. But so that's the last one. That's my Cosmo Visions. Let me tell you, I'm not going down without a fight. You can't make me. I adore this deck. So I'm very hopeful that I will find find the new way, find the general thing. I need to find general ways I work with things that aren't so hemmed in and so specific that I get stuck. And that's that. Those are the decks I want to reconnect with or connect with in 2023. I'm very excited. Logan, if you're watching this, thank you again for doing this tag. It was literally perfect for this conversation, which I've been thinking about. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining me. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let me know if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you can come on back nice and easily. If you did a VR to this deck, to this tag, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you don't do videos, but there's a deck you really want to reconnect with, I'd love to chat about it in the comments. Let me know. And then in the description box, you will find the link to my website. I'm a professional tarot reader and astrologer, and I specialize in combining the two to create really unique reading experiences for my clients. So you can check that out. If you have any questions about the content on my website, or for me, or video requests, my email's in the description box. And there's also a link to my channel membership here on YouTube that you can check out. But I'm now very out of breath, so I'm gonna go, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Lots of love. Bye.